first got you interested in karate?
To be honest, it was the James Bond films of Dr. No, and then From Russia with Love and Goldfinger. So I was 8 years of age and fascinated. But where they filmed Dr. No was in Jamaica, and my parents knew exactly where it was, so they were talking about it. And when I saw Sean Connery, I was fascinated by him. And there were other films in the 60s with Dean Martin and James Coburn, and I was fascinated by it. So that was my initial interest. When I started at a club in 1969, and I got very interested in all assets or aspects rather of karate. The club was Wadaroo. I didn't know, like most karateka, you don't realise until you're into it for a few weeks that it was a style, specific style. I had no idea of styles when I started, but it was a Wadaroo club. And it was based in Hammersmith, West London. And it was an old two squash courts, and the instructor was a very famous judoka. Again, I didn't realise until I'd been doing it for some time. But he was half Japanese himself, and explained a lot of things to me as a youngster, as a teenager, having started at 15 years of age. And I'd had an eye injury, as you can see here, which didn't allow me to do anything physical for several years. But once I was given the green light, I didn't want to do rugby or, even though I did those things at school, I wanted to do something totally different.
Yes.
So it was the martial arts.
So the eye injury was unconnected with the martial
Unconnected at all, no. And it was a pure accident, and I'm lucky it didn't, a bottle exploded in my hand, which I was holding, and lucky it didn't take my hand off, but it did leave a big chunk of glass in my face, and this was at 11 years of age.
Oh my goodness.
But my mum coped with it quite well, and
But you carried on once you were given a clear, you were carried on with karate?
Yes, and I didn't let the injury deter me. Yes. When I got into karate, and the first opportunity I had, I went to Japan, and to study all aspects, not just the Wadaroo style. I wanted to know as much as I could about different styles of karate and different instructors who were known to me through books. And I'd actually seen a lot of them teaching in the UK. So I was lucky enough to go and be accepted at different dojos, and they let me train there. I paid for the cost. Yeah, they're not that generous. You had to pay, but that was fascinating, and that was in the 80s.
And how was it with the language?
Initially, very difficult, and in the early days, they were not just because of my colour, but they were very hostile.
Yes.
But now, as they are with most gaijin, which is what they call foreigners, they accept me and accept all the groups that I take and all the students and our money. The standard is quite high, but it's nowhere as popular as it used to be. When I used to go over there, the dojos were packed. Now, a lot of them have closed. A lot of them don't exist anymore. And just like the West, numbers have dropped significantly. Baseball is still the most popular sport over there. And I don't think even Japan, who are hosting the Olympics in 2020, are going to be accepted as, karate may not be accepted as a sport in 2020 because the Japanese aren't as enthused by karate, which is a shame. From a sporting aspect, it would be good, but after 46 years, the art is definitely being tainted, the actual art of karate and the aspects of it. It's no longer a martial art, it's a sport, and if it goes that way, it will be like judo.
Yes.
You never see judo kata,
Yes.
but when I started at the Judo Khan, they used to do judo kata on a regular basis. Now it's totally dropped, nobody does it anymore, and that's what I feel will happen with karate. The kata will be abandoned. Yeah, it's popular. People like gladiators, they want to see blood. The problem is, and I will insist, the rules of karate are so baffling. And if the rules are baffling for karateka, what are they like for the general public?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a hard slog if it ever is accepted as an Olympic sport.
Well, I feel like that's about rugby, mate.
Yeah, sure. And plus it's a physical contact sport, and I know the Olympics they've even thought about banning boxing because it's physical contact. There's taekwondo and there's judo. So I know that they won't have too many martial arts subjects as such. Yeah. Martial arts are superb for helping youngsters and adults, okay? It's not just confidence, which you hear all the time. It's the ability to look after yourself, obviously, a discipline, and a built-in tenacity. You just won't give in. And I believe that's karate.
Yes.
Is instrumental in this. I agree, yeah, and they've turned out to be good kids. But I'm adamant that it's superb. The younger, the better.
Yeah.
Rather than getting to an age where the techniques are so physically difficult.
Yeah.
No, but not too young. I've changed slightly, but initially I was totally against it. But now youngsters, and some youngsters are more mature than some adults and teenagers, I believe it's totally beneficial. They start as soon as possible. Yes. I was instrumental in getting initially the GCSE running for the English Karate governing body.
Really?
Well, I was the technical director then, and I managed to get it to AS level, and they have now taken it on as an A-level subject, as long as it's connected with the PE. I hope I've got this correct, but it's got to be a PE qualification. However, I was told that they're dropping PE, martial arts linked to PE as of next term. From September, they won't be accepting taekwondo or karate as an academic subject that you can get a qualification in.
That's disappointing.
It is. I don't know why, but I think it's actually happening, so I'll find out a lot more over the next few weeks.
Okay, right.
But I believe it should. I don't know why they've done it, but I think it's a big... I'm disappointed. Well, it was the co-author who's worked for a lot of the national papers, Financial Times, Telegraph, etc., was pestering me for several years to do something. And he said the stories I tell when I'm teaching and doing courses, fascinating, he'd like to put it down. So it's taken several years to get it going, but last year it came to fruition, and we finished it. And It's really since 1969 when I started the history of karate. I've tried to be as truthful as I possibly can, and it's doing really well. Pretty much just through our association, but it's been taken on by Waterstones and Amazon in the UK, and I'm optimistic that it's going to sell well.
Right, that's great.
Okay.
That's great. Well, we look forward to reading it, and it's available on Amazon and Waterstones.
Stones, yeah.
And it's priced, I think, at £20.
Yeah, we're selling it at £20, but the retail price is £24.95.
All right, and
So
you can get it through the official BTK
yes,
website,
and all the clubs will stock it. Well, I'm very impressed by it. The standard is extremely high. Several of the students are of national level. I can see that straight away. I'm impressed. I'm so glad that it's been taken up. I'm so glad it's the biggest club in the Valencia region too.
Yes.
And you've got two really superb instructors. Giovanni Sanchez, Sarah Lakin, and I'm so happy that we come to, they bring a group to England every March for nationals. And the standard speaks for itself because they win so many medals and take them away with them. It's true.
Not so many this year, though.
No, this year, but
The
Spain.
stakes got raised, yes.
Well, what's happened is that Spain spark off the standard for the others, and they want. Yeah, so Spain are coming to compete, so everyone ups their game, and that's what's happened.
Well, thank you very much, Shihan Chris Thompson.
Thank you, Alistair. Okay.
I look forward to the second part of the course, last part of the course.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Well done. So, okay, thanks, Giovanni. Okay. Oh, I don't want to do that again. Did that come out?